Welcome to the Spider-Verse. It's episode 4. This one will be a spider duo. We're on Earth 1610 in the Ultimate Universe with Miles Morales, and he's being joined by Ghost Spider to tackle Doc Ock and Mysterio. First we'll craft the deck, and then we'll do some gameplay, battling it out against those two villain decks. So stay tuned, this will be an extra long episode. In the film Across the Spider-Verse, Gwen is visited by Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 from the future, and she learns that there's a whole team of Spider-Man and Spider-Woman variants that protect a section of the multiverse. In this deck we'll have Spider-Man 2099 as our special guest, but we won't include any other Spider-Man or Spider-Woman if we can help it. I promise, we will do all the countless Spider-Men from this set, including all their different printings. But just like our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man deck, I wanted to craft a deck that showcases our other two popular Spider hero characters, Miles Morales as Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy as Ghost Spider. The deck box is a GameGenic Soft Crate 80+, but it seems to fit all of my cards, even with most of them double-sleeved. What I love about this deck box is that it comes with a separate container for my dice and counters that fits in a separate compartment next to my cards inside the deck box. And for the card sleeves, you can use the officially licensed Spider-Man or Ghost Spider card sleeves. The heroes start as Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy. They both need 3 mana to transform, including plains and mountains. But Miles will need a forest, and Gwen will need an island. That means it'll be a 4-color deck. We have plenty of non-basic land options, including University Campus, Suburban Sanctuary, Urban Retreat, Vibrant Cityscape, Multiversal Passage, and Daily Bugle Building. Most of my basic lands will be mountains. The first one drop is Radioactive Spider. He's a 1/1 for 1 mana with Reach and Death Touch. But more importantly, he has pay 2 and sacrifice this creature to search your library for one of your spider heroes. I would do 2, 3, maybe even 4 of these. Or you could try playing a City Pigeon. It's a 1/1 flying creature. When it leaves the battlefield, it leaves a food token. Or if you're loading up on red and need an early creature to play, then you can have Masked Meower with haste, and you can discard a card by sacrificing this creature and draw a card. You'll want to have 2 or 3 heroes hang out. It's a 1 mana sorcery. Choose one. Date Night or Patrol Night. Date Night. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one. Until the end of your next turn, you may play it. Or Patrol Night, 1 or 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and first strike until end of turn. When Gwen Stacy enters, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control her. This will set some important things in motion, but first we'll need to transform Gwen Stacy for 5 mana, 2 colorless, an island, a mountain, and a plain. And then when she transforms to Ghost Spider, she'll have flying, vigilance, and haste and be a 4/4, with whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, you can put a +1/+1 counter on her. Then you can remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider to exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. When Miles Morales enters, you can put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, and he transforms for 6. 3 colorless, a mountain, a forest, and a plains. Then he'll be a 4/3 first strike with haste, and Camouflage gives him pay 2, put a +1/+1 counter on Ultimate Spider-Man. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Then, whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. The next creature will be Selfless Police Captain George Stacy. This creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it, and when it leaves the battlefield, you can redistribute that +1 counter to another target creature like Ultimate Spider-Man, for example. And then we have Spider-Man 2099. He's from the future, so you can't cast Spider-Man 2099 during your first, second, or third turns of the game. But he's a 2/3 with double strike and vigilance, and at the beginning of your end step, if you've played a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, like exile for example, then Spider-Man 2099 deals damage equal to his power to any target. So this will be one of the cards that takes advantage whenever you cast a spell from the Spider-Verse. And now moving into our 2-drop non-creature spells, we have Costume Closet. It's an artifact with 2 +1/+1 counters when it enters. You tap it to move the counters from this artifact onto a target creature you control and activate that only as a sorcery. And then whenever a modified creature you control leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on this artifact. Next we have Spectacular Tactics. It's an instant, choose one, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until end of turn. Or you can destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. And then we have Scout the City. Sorcery, choose one, look around, mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand and gain 3 life, or bring down, destroy target creature with flying. In the 3 mana cost category, our first creature is Spider-Gwen, Free Spirit. She has Reach, and she's a 2/3. With whenever Spider-Gwen becomes tapped, you may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card. Then we also have Guy in Chair. He's a Human Advisor, 2/3. You tap him to add 1 mana of any color, and he has Web Support. Pay 2 colorless and 1 forest, and then tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target spider, activate only as a sorcery. Passenger Ferry is a artifact vehicle, 4/3, with crew 2. Whenever this vehicle attacks, you may pay 1 island. When you do, another target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. If you can muster 2 blue, you can play Amazing Acrobatics. It's an instant with choose one or both. Counter target spell, tap 1 or 2 target creatures. For 4 mana, we'll summon help from our friends at the Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle Reporters is a 2/3 human citizen. When it enters, choose one, puff peace, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, or Investigative Journalism, return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. And that'll of course be helpful to get your Gwen Stacy or Miles Morales from the graveyard. Then for 4 mana, we also have Interdimensional Web Watch. When this artifact enters, you exile the top 2 cards of your library, and until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. And you can tap this artifact for 2 mana of any combination of colors, and spend this mana only to cast the spells from exile. This can include any of the spells that you put into exile by Gwen Stacy or your Ghost Spider. We have an enchantment, Wall Crawl. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach, then you gain 1 life for each spider you control. Spiders you control get +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with Defender. From Spider-Man Eternal, we have Venom Blast. It's a sorcery with put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 other target creature. For 5 mana, we have Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary. He's a 4/3 with Web Slinging, which costs 3. When he enters, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And then in red, we have Ghost Spider Gwen Stacy. She's also from Spider-Man Eternal. She's a 4/4 with Menace. Whenever Ghost Spider attacks, she deals X damage to defending player, where X is the number of attacking creatures. For 5 mana, you can play this instant, Double Trouble, double the power of each creature you control until end of turn. Or you can play Spider-Verse. It's an enchantment. The legend rule doesn't apply to spiders you control. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may copy it. If you do, you may choose new targets for the copy. If the copy is a permanent spell, it gains haste. Do this only once each turn. And then, for our last card, for 6 mana, you get a 5/5 Spider-Man Miles Morales. He has Vigilance and Trample, and whenever Spider-Man enters or attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Those creatures gain Trample until end of turn. Now that we have our hero deck, let's swing into the Spider-Verse and fight some villain decks that we've prepared in the previous episode. We'll do Doc Ock first, and then Mysterio. Hero side goes first.
I came from the bottom, now I'm aiming for the stars.
Plays Vibrant Cityscape. Claims a mountain. Sinister Hideout. Passes turn. First creature is Gwen Stacy. Exile a card from the top of the library. Villain side plays Spider Slayer, Hatred Honed. Scout the City. They'll choose Look Around and gain 3 life. Risky Research, Surveil 2, they'll draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Spider Slayer attacks, no blocks, 2 life. Hero side is at 21. Gwen Stacy will attack for 2, and then she'll be web-slinged for Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary. When he enters, the player will search their library for a basic land card and shuffle. Lady Octopus Inspired Inventor enters, and they'll play Grasping Tentacles. Target opponent mills 8 cards, but there's no artifacts. There is a Gwen Stacy. Player will play the Gwen Stacy that returned to their hand during web sling, and they'll exile another card from the top of the library. Now Miles Morales enters. 2 target creatures will get a +1/+1 counter, and Brooklyn Visionary will attack. They'll draw a card and Lady Octopus will get a counter. They'll play Doc Ock's Tentacles and attach it to the Spider Slayer. They'll swing for 6 damage. Now they're at 15. Hero's turn. They transform Miles Morales into Ultimate Spider-Man. They attack with all 3 creatures, and since Ultimate Spider-Man attacks, they'll double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature. Lady Octopus will block, villain will take 8 damage, and now they're at 4 life. It's their turn, and now they play Spider-Man No More. They'll use it on Gwen Stacy so she can't transform into a flying spider. Villain will play the next Lady Octopus, but they still don't have any flying Octobots. Hero's turn, they play Interdimensional Web Watch. They'll exile the top 2 cards of their library, and until the end of the next turn they can play those cards. Now they'll tap it for 2 mana, and then they'll play Daily Bugle of Reporters from exile. They'll choose Investigative Journalism to return Gwen Stacy to their hand. They'll attack with their spiders, and Spider Slayer will block Brooklyn Visionary. That leaves only 1 more spider for it to kill. Ultimate Spider-Man will double his counters, but it won't matter against Spider Slayer next turn. Villain plays Living Brain, Mechanical Marvel. Now Spider Slayer will be a 7/7 during combat on their turn. This could be enough to turn the game. But the heroes did manage to return a Gwen Stacy to their hand, and now they'll play it as Ghost Spider with Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. And to make matters worse, they'll play Heroes Hangout from exile. It has 2 modes, and they'll choose Patrol Knight, giving 2 creatures first strike. Then they'll attack, and so without any Dr. Octopuses being played, the villains will be defeated, and that's game. Wait, what's this? It's Spider-Man? Yes, Peter Parker is coming to help with Mysterio. Let's bring back our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man deck. I want to take this opportunity to show you how to slim this down to a 3-color deck. This will use just the colors that Peter Parker needs to transform to Spider-Man. We'll keep all these cards and we'll stick to just the web slinging and life gain mechanic. That means we'll need to get rid of all the red cards, just for now. And I think we can get away with excluding these non-basic lands. We're also going to get rid of Pictures of Spider-Man and Rent is Due. I think they would just slow us down, and we don't really need the treasure tokens. So since we're taking out these 9 cards, I think we should add 2 more cards that we already have, and then add 7 new cards. We'll add Bagel and Schmear. It'll be a source for +1/+1 counters and allow us to draw a card. But more importantly, we'll be able to sacrifice it to gain life, and we'll still draw a card. Scout the City has Miles Morales on it, so it's up to you if you want to use this card, but it may help you find a card you need and you'll gain 3 life. It's also a removal for a flying creature. I think we should use every source for life gain that we can. Gallant Citizen is a flexible creature that we can use to web sling or block, and he's self-replacing since he allows you to draw a card. And then another jerk, Flash Thompson. He's actually going to be really useful since he can tap or untap your creatures for you, and that will be pretty vital for web slinging. And then Grow Extra Arms is almost as good as a removal spell. I know you're going to want to draw this card at some point. It'll be really cheap to play, especially for your spiders, and it'll give you +4/+4. And then Spider-Mobile could be very good if you have a lot of spiders on the field. Most of your creatures will be able to crew this, so I think it'll come in handy. It should be a 5/5 pretty routinely. And then Costume Closet, I really wanted to have this one in the main deck, and so here it is. It'll basically be your +1/+1 generator, and it can distribute the +1 counters as you like. These are mostly Peter Parker's costumes, but I had to include one in the Miles and Gwen deck because that deck also heavily uses +1/+1 counters. And then now, since we have the Marvel superhero set, I think it's okay to do a crossover in your decks in some limited cases. You do have some standard or commander format choices, like Spider-Man to the Rescue, which is a green-white, so it fits the colors of this deck, giving you a creature with vigilance and reach, and he can potentially block and save one of your few main creatures in this deck from dying at a crucial moment in battle. In one of your Spider-Man and Friends decks, you could also include this version of Spider-Woman. She's very defensive as a 1/4 and flash, and she may be able to put one of your opponent's main creatures out of play, at least for a while. And then Rapid Rescue, I think, is a very valid card for this deck. It's another green that's kind of an alternative to Scout the City, but with Peter Parker flavor. So let's get this deck ready for battle and fight Mysterio. Villain goes first and plays an island. Hero side plays Radioactive Spider. Mysterio's Phantasm with Flying and Vigilance. Mary Jane Watson. Now villain plays Molten Man. They'll search their library for a basic mountain card. Vibrant Cityscape. They'll look for a basic land and then shuffle. Molten Man is now a 3/3. And they play Mysterio, Master of Illusion. Mysterio! Spider-Man is Mysterio! They'll get 3 Illusion Villain creature tokens. Hero side plays Flash. He'll tap himself, and then Urban Retreat will Web Sling. They'll tap the land and then play him again. This time they'll tap Radioactive Spider and then Web Sling Spider-Man Web Slinger. No, it can't be! Spider-Man! A spider entered, so they'll draw a card. Villain side plays another Vibrant Cityscape for a mountain, making Molten Man now a 4/4. And then they'll play another Mysterio's Phantasm. And then they play Unstable Experiment and draw a card. Mysterio will connive, so he'll draw another card and then discard. The illusions will attack. The Phantasm has Vigilance and Flying, and they'll mill a card. Hero side plays Kapow. Spider-Man will get a +1/+1 and retaliate. That Spider-Man is a menace! He'll knock out Mysterio and his illusion tokens. Origin of Spider-Man. They'll create a 2/1 spider creature token with reach. The spider enters, so they'll draw a card. They'll play Radioactive Spider again and then draw another card. Villain's turn. And Mysterio returns. Again, they'll get illusion creature tokens. Hero's turn, Origin of Spider-Man will go to step 2. Flash will get a +1/+1 and become a Spider Hero. Then they play Web Shooters and attach it to Flash. He's now a 4/4 with reach. Parker, get out there, take some pictures. They also play Peter Parker's camera with 3 film counters. Villain's turn, they'll play Shock on Radioactive Spider. And then attack with everything. Spider token blocks a Phantasm, Flash blocks Mysterio, and Mary Jane blocks an illusion token. Spider-Man will thwip, getting +2/+2. It's a spider, so player will get 2 life. But it will block and defeat Molten Man, and Mysterio will go to the graveyard and the illusion tokens will disapparate. 2 Phantasms attacked, so they'll mill 2 cards. Origin of Spider-Man will go to step 3. Spider-Man will get double strike until end of turn, so they'll attach Web Shooters, and Spider-Man will be a 5/5 with double strike. They'll tap 1 Phantasm, and then they'll spend 1 film counter to copy that triggered ability and tap the other Phantasm. Villain loses 10 life. These pictures are awful! I'll buy them all! But on their turn, they play their 3rd Mysterio. They'll play another Unstable Experiment, and Mysterio will connive, and then the Phantasms will attack for 2. Hero side plays Daily Bugle Reporters, hot off the press, does Puff Piece, adding 2 +1/+1 counters to their creatures. But Peter Parker will take a picture and spend a film counter to copy that ability. Spider-Man will attack for 7. An illusion will block. Then opponent plays Molten Man. He'll search his library for another mountain, and then Molten Man will be a 5/5. They'll attack, and then Mysterio wins this round. But we know how it ends. Spider-Man will learn Mysterio's tricks and make a fool of J. Jonah Jameson. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our first venture into the Spider-Verse with Miles and Gwen. Later, we will fully open the Spider-Verse to all the different Spider-Men and Spider-Women, so hit subscribe so you don't miss out. In the next episode, episode 5, I really want to delve into symbiotes and my favorite villain, Venom. We'll build a deck with Venom, Carnage, Eddie Brock, of course, And then we'll also do a deck on Black Suit Spider-Man and other anti-heroes. Doing ultimate magic with Ultimate Spider-Man is Ultimate Deckcrafting.